What's going on, Mudtruckers? Welcome, Mudtrucker News. Email us at mudtruckernews@gmail.com. Apologize about this late video. Today was my birthday, and I turned 40 today. And so Jenna, my wife, took me out to go get some dinner. So I'm very thankful for her. But still, got to get this news information out there. And so basically, the big news topic right here is that Oklahoma lawmakers passed bill cracking down on non-domiciled commercial vehicle drivers, right? And so these articles are coming out everywhere. And basically, it says here, SB 20, the Oklahoma Secure Roads and Safe Trucking Act of 2025, was passed by the Oklahoma House of Representatives by a vote of 71 to 13 this week. Okay, so now it's just headed to the desk of the governor. And as soon as this is signed, it becomes law. And so basically it says here, the bill forbids any non-domiciled commercial driver from operating in Oklahoma if they do not possess a valid work visa and meet identification requirements. Identification requirements include the presentation of proof of citizenship documents from the country that issued their commercial driver's license, such as birth certificate, valid passport, or naturalization certificate. If a non-domiciled commercial driver violates this driving restriction, they could face a misdemeanor charge or up to 90 days in jail and $8,000 fine. They believe it's going to make a really big difference. It says here, motor carrier face a fine of $3,000 for each violation of this provision of the SB 20. The bill additionally imposes English language requirements for commercial vehicle drivers, similar to those ordered by Trump's administration on federal level in the late April, requiring that drivers possess the ability to communicate with enforcement, emergency responders, and the motoring public.
Yeah, I was also scrambling to get signatures on my SB 20. SB 20 is the non-domiciled CDLs and the English proficiency standards that I've been talking about for weeks now. How important this bill is. Over the weekend, my drafters, Michael, you did a fantastic job. And Becky, thank you for taking that initiative over the weekend to give me a solid bill. And this bill is solid. Making it perfect amongst all of the industries involved and having them come together and be in an agreement on the bill language. But because we did that over the weekend, it had to go to conference committee. That's protocol. But sometimes they say bills go to die in conference, and we did not want that to happen. So I was scrambling hard on Tuesday to get signatures and get that thing back out of conference, and the same in the House. Representative Wilk did a great job at making sure it got out of conference with all the signatures needed, and it happened. We got them all out. We got the bill back ready to go on the agenda. So Wednesday morning, of course, you wake up and you just expect it to be on the agenda, and it's not there. So I was pretty bummed Wednesday morning going to the Capitol, not seeing SB 20 on there. But I left it in God's hands. We had devotion that morning in prayer with the governor. We do that. And then I just kept praying, God has gotten me through this so far, and he has. He has moved since the beginning when my constituent came to my office and had a request to save the trucking industry. Stevens Trucking came and said, we have to do something now. And I said, I will do everything I can. And my leadership was involved and was ready to help. And so I started making phone calls, and I've made connections with people in American Truckers United in Arkansas. Lots of trucking industries, of course, in Oklahoma on board now. This has been a God thing since the beginning. And you just have to remind yourself, Kendall, when you do not rely on God fully first, doesn't mean you don't do the work, but when you just start trying to take it into your hands, and you get caught up in that up at the Capitol a lot. What can I do? What else can I do to get something done? That is not how it works. You rely on God first and still do the work. And we see that throughout the Old Testament. And now I'm getting preachy on you, but it's just a good reminder. And, every time a leader in the Old Testament, Joshua or Moses or David, any king, that did not fully rely on God and started leaning on his own strengths, that is when failure came or punishment came. So I focused on that all morning, and by lunchtime, my EA had called and said, hey, they revised the agenda. SB 20 is going to be on there. Let's go. So I hustled back. I just left for lunch, skipped lunch, came back, and studied that bill as hard as I could because I knew the debate was going to be hard on it. And it was. I mean, I got christened for sure as a freshman on the floor with that bill, but it's solid, guys. And so we got it passed. Thank you to everybody who passed this bill handily. You voted for safe roads and saving our trucking industry in Oklahoma. So thank you. That means Thursday it went on the agenda for the House. Thank you, leadership in the House too. I mean, this bill has been harmonious in both chambers and with the executive branch. That does not happen very often, but this has been a priority bill since the get-go. And it's been awesome to be carrying such a important, vital piece of legislation and to have both chambers unanimously prioritized on it. It was awesome. So it passed in the House. No debate at all. Wilt got away with it easy, but it's waiting for the governor to sign, and he told me he's ready to sign it. So be looking for that today, hopefully.
The bill established fines of $1,000 for drivers and $3,000 for carriers for each language-related violation. So a little bit about this right here, right? So, I interviewed the American Truckers United, Shannon and Harvey, and I've had them on the show. And basically, they were trying to do this in Arkansas. And when they tried to do this, the bill got withdrawn. And so, interesting enough, a truck driver, that from this, the Senator Kendall says here, SB 20 passes with a strong approval. Thanks to Wilk for State House HD 20 for carrying this piece of legislation in the House today. All that's left is Governor Kevin signature. I appreciate American Truckers United leader Shannon Everett for all his efforts and prayers with this bill. And thank you to my very own constituent, Stevens Trucking, and Cole Stevens for asking me to help. So that's the trucking company and truck driver that asked for help. All his research and starting the conversation of this epidemic throughout the trucking world. And it says here, the future of our truck industry looks very bright. Thank you, Oklahoma representatives, for your overwhelming support for the Secure Roads and Safe Trucking Act of 2025. So interesting enough, American Truckers United has been pushing really hard. And that's why, President Trump made that executive order that everybody basically driving a truck has to speak English, right? And that was already a requirement. But this right here is now landing on Oklahoma grounds. And they're going to keep on pushing this and try to get to every state, waiting for the governor's signature on this. So, Mud Truckers, comment down below. What are your thoughts about this? Do you believe that this is going to help bring rates back up and help the trucking industry? And most of all, help the public safety of our roads?